Welcome to Sunday with Mike. Today we'll discuss why I think you should keep your passive speakers, why online reviews are so important, rack gear explained, and finally why a tape measure needs to be in your toolkit. Grab a cup of coffee and join me. I'll be right back. Hi, and welcome back. So should you keep your passive speakers? I think so. Why is that, you might ask? Well, the market is flooded with gear of all types, both old and new, but the gear that's getting the absolute least amount of money these days are the old passive speakers that required an amplifier. Since you aren't going to get much money for them, why get rid of them? What I'd like to see you do with that equipment is to find a way to make money with it. Why not open up a rental department within your company for the public when they need to rent gear? Guitar Center does it. Why can't you? What about doing a long-term lease with a new church that can't afford to buy its own gear? You could set it up once and then even get paid to do the maintenance monthly. Then after so many months, it could be theirs free and clear, and you could write it off as well. You could do the same thing with a bar or a restaurant or any other kind of business. Don't like those ideas? What about setting it up in a man cave? Find something to do with that older gear that will make you more money or give you more value than selling it for pennies on the dollar. I'll be right back.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
So tell me, are DJ reviews important? I think they are, but I'm not alone on this one. Not at all, according to all of the major players in the wedding business, like The Knot, Wedding Wire, along with all of the industry leaders, even outside of weddings. The more I dig into this topic, the more I see just how big of a deal online reviews have become over the last few years. Don't get me wrong, surveys, thank you cards, letters from past clients were always an important part of any DJ's business. We used to have them all scanned and posted on our website for everybody to see. Today's younger generation is more savvy and places a higher level of importance onto online reviews. They are responding to DJs that have more realistic reviews and those that have a track record of success. Since most DJs are being hired for private events like parties, weddings, anniversaries, etc., having more reviews will help push your company to the top. People want to know that they are getting their money's worth, and they're hearing it from your past clients, not from us. Get smarter about how and where you ask people to give you a review. If you get most of your business from Facebook, then ask them to leave you a review there. If it's Yelp, point them in that direction. For me, as a wedding DJ, The Knot and Wedding Wire are my primary places to go and send my clients. It doesn't matter where they go as much as it matters what they say. Were they happy? Will what they had to say generate more business for you? These are the questions that you need to be focusing on and direct your business towards that goal. I'll be right back. So what does 1U mean? If you already know the answer to this question, then you can relax and go grab another cup of coffee. But if you have no idea what I'm talking about, stand by and let's dig in. Rack gear is based on standard measurements so that it's easy to calculate how much space will be needed and what would fit into a case. So what is 1U? It means it's one rack space, which happens to be 1.75 inches. We're going to take a look at an example here, and we've drawn it out for you. Generally speaking, it's 3 screw holes. That would indicate 1.75 inches or one rack space, which is what we've drawn out here for you. So when you're trying to calculate things, it makes it much easier. The equipment companies that make rack gear will use this system instead of inches. They'll still list the inches in the specifications, but generally speaking, they'll say it's X amount of rack spaces. So in this example, if an amplifier is 5.25 inches, 5.25 inches high, they would just simply say that it's 3 rack spaces. If you bought an amp case that was 12 spaces, that would leave you with 9 empty slots that could be used for other equipment. Here's another example of that. On the left, we have a 4 space case, and on the right we have a 12 space case. And again, through every 3 screws is a space. These cases come in all shapes and sizes, and it's hard to believe that you couldn't find a case that's already in production to fit most situations and give you exactly what you're looking for. But sometimes you're going to want to create a custom case, and if you're going to order a custom case, it's absolutely critical that you get the number of spaces correct, since you won't be able to return this case if you made the mistake. They also make things like rack drawers, which is the one on the left, and allows you to put things like headphones and microphones and connector panels. And they also make some solid filler panels like the one on the right. In addition to vented panels that allow the air to circulate. So now that you have a better idea of what rack spaces are and how it works, there's no reason that you can't start speaking this lingo and taking advantage of all of the available space in your next rack build. I'll be right back. I've been DJing for a really long time, and I have a brand new appreciation for our tape measure. I've just recently added a little 6-foot small tape measure to my toolbox because I got tired of fighting doorways and elevators with my rock and roller cart. So the next time that you arrive to load in at a new place or one that has a tight 90-degree turn, you'll thank your tape measure over and over again. I picked up this little guy. It's 6 foot long. It's a Stanley, and it works out well. It locks, and it doesn't really matter what cart you use, whether it's a rock and roller or anything else. It will help you if you arrive at a new venue, someplace you've never been before, and walk from your vehicle to where you're going to set up your equipment and measure every doorway, every 90-degree turn, every elevator, whatever it is that you need to measure that's going to affect your load in. Go back, set your cart up or load it up. Sometimes you can turn your speaker sideways because it's a wider door and get more stuff on a smaller cart. All of these things matter, but the most embarrassing situation I ever had was I was at a hotel that I never loaded in before. I'd used my rock and roller cart in elevators many times, and it always fit. This time, I was 1 inch short. I was long, and the doors wouldn't close, and everybody was outside looking at me, and I'm trying to lift a fully loaded cart and turn it at a diagonal and cheat it in just 1 more inch so the door would close, and it was very, very embarrassing. So from this point on, I'm going to have my tape measure. I'm going to make sure that I know exactly how long everything can be, how wide it can be before I ever load my cart and never have to deal with this situation again. So the 90-degree turns are the absolute worst because it's harder to calculate that radius, but once you get the swing of it, you'll figure it out, and believe me, setting up your cart for 40 inches instead of 38 will make a huge difference the next time you're trying to make a turn. So you don't want to have to repack the cart. use a tape measure, make your life simple, and it's okay if you want to laugh at me because that elevator situation was pretty embarrassing, but I promise it will never, ever, ever happen to me again. All right, so that's going to be my show for today. I'm going to be back next week with all new topics to help you and your business. Be sure to give me your thoughts down in the comments section down below and be gentle about the tape measure. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up if I've taught you anything new at all. If you want to get in touch with me, you can find me on Facebook, and I'll share that link down in the description column. So until next Sunday, my name is Mike Schnauder. Thanks for watching, and be safe.